Hello and welcome back. Welcome if this is your first time. My name is Des. Welcome to the Woodwardson channel. Today I'm sharing a video of two projects that you can build with fence pickets. I actually had these two fence pickets that I used laying around. I had planed them down to a 1/2 inch and had used some of it for another project. I'm just using what is left over to make two products that you can actually give to friends or family as a gift, or you can potentially put them on Etsy or your website if you have one for sale. They're pretty easy to make, and the good thing about it is that you can change the dimensions to whatever suits you. There's no set dimensions that these have to be. You can follow the one that I used. I just showed you there what dimensions I used to cut it, but in a little while here I'll show you all of the dimensions that I used to cut the pieces. And then if you need the final dimensions of the product, you can find those in the description. Okay, well, let's build together. So one of the products I made is a centerpiece, which is about 2.5 inches high. So I'm using fence pickets that I had ripped into two, and this you can do if you can do it easily if you have a table saw. You can just rip it on a table saw, or you can use a circular saw or even a jigsaw to rip it in half, and then just stacking the two together and making the cut makes it go pretty faster than having to cut them one at a time. And just make sure that they're aligned so that you cut them at the same length equally. Well, I'm saying the same thing. Just make sure you align them so that you cut them at the same length. Both pieces at the same length is what I mean. So I know I said this project is based on using fence pickets, but I am throwing in a bonus here where I'm using a 1x12 board to make an additional product that you can add in the mix. And really, if you want to, this can be made with using a fence picket. You will just have to glue a few pieces of the fence pickets together, or you can use the standard width of the fence picket to make it. I've seen multiple different dimensions of this on Etsy and other stores that sell this product, so it does not have to be 11 by 13 as I did with this one, but that's what I needed it to be for the space that it was going to be used. So that's one thing to keep in mind with these three products that I'm showing you how I built them. You can decide on which dimensions work for you. If it's easier to just follow the dimensions that I use, go ahead, but if you're comfortable adjusting the dimensions to fit your needs, go ahead and make it a fun project. For the legs of the bonus product, I'm using a 30-degree angle. If you're not comfortable making angle cuts, you can just leave the legs as flat as they are, as flat as they come, or you might need to trim off some of the ends of it to keep it really flat. Otherwise, you can use a 30-degree angle like I did here, and just remember to flip the board the right way so that you get the right angles as I'm showing here. One thing I like to do when I'm working on any project is to find ways to keep my cuts to a minimum or to keep repeated tasks to a minimum. So what I did in this case was I cut the angle for the two sides in one piece and then cut it into a half, rather than cutting the two halves and then cutting the angles on each of the halves of the legs there. So make sure you get the length that you need for both legs. Make the angle cuts on one piece and then cut it into two when you have the angles cut out. That would save you some hassle with trying to keep the smaller pieces, especially, you know, just looking at the size of them. It's a lot easier to do it that way than to have to cut the angles on the smaller pieces, unless if you were doing it on a bandsaw, which I consider safer to use than a table saw. Just a tip I thought I would share there. Now it was time to do a good amount of sanding. I was just trying the drill sander there, but I need some practice with using that. There's too much vibration. I'm trying to keep it steady. Maybe I need to run it at a slower speed, but it's way faster doing the block sander there by hand. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just sanding off all the sharp edges, making them a little bit smoother to the touch, because all three of these products will be handled by hand most of the time. So I want to make sure there are no sharp edges there or no splinters there. I'm using I believe that's an 80 grit sandpaper that I'm using, and that's all I did. And one thing you would notice is that I just left everything natural. I may be staining one or two of these products later on, but just so you see what they look like naturally, I haven't stained them yet. So if I do end up staining them, I will share photos in another video. So I just did a quick time check there and realized that I'm still under an hour since I started cutting the pieces, sanding them, and yeah, up to this point. So I believe the whole project took about an hour and a half max. will be a good time to subscribe to this channel if you've not already done so. Thank you. So I put together the bathroom caddy or toilet caddy, whichever name you're familiar with, but I've seen it being called a bathroom caddy or toilet caddy. Both are in the same spot, so it makes sense. Anyway, the centerpiece that I'm getting the bottom ready for now, I'm not going to put that together now because I am going to add some personalization to one of the sides, as you will see me do shortly. So I'm just making sure I get the base or the bottom of it ready, and then we'll go add the personalization to the one side before putting it together. Now it was time to put together the bonus project or bonus product, which is just a riser that I put on a 30-degree angle legs. Well, I put it on a pair of 30-degree angle legs. I just marked around where those should go to help me keep them in place so they don't move when I apply the glue. So now it's time for the personalization. I'm just engraving a family quote there on one of the sides, and then I'll put it together. Now here's a look at all three of them. So for the centerpiece that will be going on the dining table, I'm using this 3M non-slip protection pad that you can just cut out into the size that you need to use. I'm just cutting small pieces there that I'll attach to the bottom of it to make sure it doesn't scratch the surface. It's pretty smooth, but it is wood and it would age. I want to make sure that it does not eventually scratch the surface of the table. So I'm adding those pads there, protect it. You can see there I have it on a countertop right now without the pad. It moves pretty freely, and the pads will help to keep it in place so it doesn't get knocked over or moved about when someone hits it by accident. There you have it. So you may or may not have noticed that I left some edges looking natural and a little bit rough because I wanted to keep the give it a farmhouse look or finish. And so you might notice that, and I used pin nails to fasten it together alongside with the glue, and since they're pin nails, there's pretty much no holes to cover, and even if I had used brad nails, I didn't intend to cover those holes because I wanted it to have that industrial look. If you don't like that, you can always add wood putty to cover the nail holes, depending on what you use to fasten it together. I like the look of it, all three of them for that matter. Please let me know in the comments which one you like best, whether it's a centerpiece or the bathroom caddy or the riser. So I thought for this video, rather than just saying that you could potentially make money with this or give it as a gift, I thought it was a good idea to just walk with you, show you some examples of how people are staging this for sale on Etsy. This one is selling for $33 as a toilet caddy, but you can stage it how you want people to perceive the use of it. They're pretty much just boxes that can be utilized for almost anything that you would need a box for. Here someone's using it as a coaster box to hold their coasters. So I just thought I'll show you these ones. I get some inspiration from Etsy to build products. Pinterest is another place you can, I'm sure you've heard of Pinterest, you probably use Pinterest as well. But just to get an idea of what people are asking for these products that we made today, I just thought it would be a good idea to just take a look. And if you don't intend to sell them, it gives you an idea of the value you'll be giving to friends and family as gifts. Okay, so that wraps it for today. Remember, all you need is a little bit of faith and some DIY attitude to tackle any project. Until then, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. And you might see me in the next video.